All right, the time is 3 o'clock. We are in the Tom Baker meeting room and it's time to get started. Before we actually call roll and get started, I would like to have us join in a moment of silence. Walt Bailey passed away on the 11th. As many of you know, he was a historian for the state of North Dakota for 37 years. Co-founded the Bismarck Historical Society and was a founding member of this HPC. So we'll just observe Walt and his great legacy for us. Thank you. And if anybody wants to share their memories of Walt, that would be great if you want to let Lauren know, and we can put that in the meeting minutes for next time. Great. All right, can we roll call then?
Commissioner Zanker,
Here.
Commissioner Hall,
Here.
Commissioner Swanson,
Here.
Commissioner Pursley,
Here. Commissioner
Nodlin,
Here.
Commissioner Sakerson, Chair Engel.
Here. All right. In your packet, you will have the Historic Preservation Commission reviews that we are working on or have undertaken, so you can review those at your leisure. Can we have a review and a call for approval for the meeting minutes from last time?
I'll motion for that.
Second.
All right. Any comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll call.
Commissioner Zanker,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Swanson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pursley,
Yes.
Commissioner Nodlin,
Yes.
Chair Engel.
Yes. All right, on to the regular agenda, the downtown streetlights.
Greetings, Chair Engel and Commissioners. This is just going to be a quick overview. City Engineering's exploring downtown pedestrian streetlights, and they just want to bring this potential project to your attention early on in their review of it. I'll allow Linda Oster with City Engineering to provide an overview of what they've been looking at so far.
Good afternoon, Commission. Linda Oster, Assistant City Engineer with the Engineering Department. And we are currently working with Public Works to upgrade all of our street lighting in the city of Bismarck. After this construction season 2025, all of the streetlights within the city of Bismarck, with the exception of the downtown area, will be upgraded to the LED lights. They provide a better quality of light, and they also reduce power consumption. In fact, we're down probably 60% of our power consumption costs when we change out an area of the city. So that's very encouraging. In the downtown area, these lights are metal halide. They aren't the high-pressure sodium. But because they're metal halide, they have been increasingly hard to find metal halide bulbs. When we do find them, they're very expensive. So what Public Works has been doing is they have been upgrading the metal halide, taking out the interior, I'll call them guts of the fixture and upgrading them to an LED retrofit. The metal halide is very old technology, and systematically the industry is phasing them out. So eventually we're going to have to upgrade to something other than the metal halide, and even high-pressure sodium is also being phased out. So LED is really the place to go with them. Now we have some challenges. I mean, there's already challenges when we try to upgrade or retrofit the existing fixtures. My second bullet point there, any attempt to change out the interior components of the fixture is difficult. The globes are very fragile because polycarbonates break down very quickly when they're exposed to the elements. And over 27 years since some of them been up, they have broken, shattered, whatnot. The interior components are also very brittle. Another challenge that we're facing is we have 4 different fixtures from 4 different manufacturers with a bracket, the wheat motif arms, and 3 different pole manufacturers, which means we have 3 different sizes of tenons that we have to try to get this bracket to fit on. Some of these brackets are separate from the light itself. Some of them are integral to the fixture itself. It makes it difficult to try to put out a set of plans to change them all out, and so they will continue looking the same moving forward. Currently, we only have 1 lighting manufacturer. Actually, we may actually have another, but the difficulty is that it's a custom piece for both of them. So that means, and they both only offer the integral bracket, and the cost is very high. And that's the last point too. I mean, we've had 4, but 3 have backed out and said, we're not making the fixture anymore. So it's a challenge. So what are we asking for? Let me go into, we have over 200 of the pedestrian fixtures, probably closer to about 230, that will need to be replaced or upgraded. That includes the fixtures and the brackets because they're 2 different configurations. We did install some in 2024, about 20 of them along 3rd Street. We have another project in the works along Front Avenue between 3rd and 7th that we're looking for another 30 of them. So if you look at that, 200 of them we need to replace. We're going to put in 30 more. We have 20 that are on 3rd Street. So of those that we have an opportunity to put in new, we're feeling this is an opportunity to ask the downtown community, is this a fixture you still want to go with? Or is there something better you'd like to do? Would you like a different bracket arm? The bracket arms right now, they were meant to hold a banner, but it would be a custom banner. And I think it's been cost prohibitive in the past to utilize that custom bracket. And there's I have some pictures here that can show you what we'd really be looking at for a bracket arm that would kind of clean up the poles. You'd be able to use them for a banner and then put an additional banner on the bottom as time goes on. So really we're putting this forward to you. If you're willing to look at an additional bracket or fixture and bracket configuration, we think this is an opportunity to maybe find a more cost-effective way and maybe a more pleasing way to light the downtown. I bring up cost, and cost isn't the only thing. I mean, I've listed some very good things, but when we put in those lights in 2014, or 24, sorry, they were $4,900 a piece. So if we replace everything downtown, that's over $1 million. That's why we're bringing this to the downtown community. Is it time to relook at our downtown design criteria and maybe update the fixture to something that's maybe unique to Bismarck, but not unique to the industry? So with that, what I want to do is I want to show you some options that we're looking at, and we're going to ask the technical committee for downtown design review to share their thoughts on. This one here is very similar to what we use in our residential areas. We would have it in a bronze. We would reuse the existing concrete poles. if you notice, and I don't have a pointer here, but in the picture on the right, there is a bracket arm. That's what I'm talking about. It would just be flat out, so you could use any standard banner on it, and then you'd simply tag on the banner arms below. So that's what I'm suggesting. Another option is the Washington series, also by Hall of Fame. These are all LED. There's really no lens. The lens is up above and it shines out. I think it looks very nice. Let me preface by saying I am not a historian. I don't know how this fits into the downtown, and I value your input on that. This is called Plaza by Sternberg. I think this has at first I looked at it, I thought it was more Victorian, but now I think it's kind of has a Art Deco feel to it. Here's another one, probably a little more Victorian in style, but it's something we certainly could do. Also in a dark bronze. All of these, we verified they can be in a dark bronze, so they would match any dark bronze that are on the poles. And they'd also match the 30-foot poles that are currently the dark bronze. This is one of my favorite ones. It's a Euro fixture by Sternberg. I think what we'd be doing is we'd be looking for, one without a outer lens, just one that has a lens up on top and shine down. I think it's very nice. I think it would work well for what we need it to do. And then this is what we have today. This is the fixture that is a custom build for ELA. And so it still is an option, and we would price it out alongside any other options the downtown community would want to look at. The one thing I wanted to point out, the 30-foot poles would also have just the head changed at the same time. The poles would remain the same. We have some options for those and fairly reasonable to maintain and replace. So it's just the pedestrian poles, the 13-footers. And with that, I am free to answer any questions.
I have a few questions. One was for the banners. Would the new styles you're proposing, would the old banners still work on the new ones?
The banners we currently have, they should work on on those. Correct.
And then the other question I had relating to banners was if the style would survive, if the style would allow the banners to survive North Dakota winds. Because it looked like the current style has bars at top and bottom, and then the style I saw, at least what I could tell in the photos, just had at the top. So I wasn't sure thoughts on that, or what other cities like Fargo or Grand Forks might do for
You
their
mean
banners.
for the banner arms?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with that. Part
Okay.
of our submittal would be an evaluation by a structural engineer, because we do call out certain requirements for wind gusts and just standard loading, wind loading. So we'd be concerned with that as well as we move through approval.
Okay. Those are my two, I guess, non-historic preservation questions.
Fair
Thank you.
questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nodland.
Linda, I have a question and maybe a suggestion. I don't know. So Bismarck has a long history of downtown streetlights that were very decorative, and I thought that I had sent Lauren a series of them over the 150 years, how they progressed. And so I guess one of my questions is, how many are you talking about in the downtown area? And not that you want to add yet another size, whatever, but I guess my question for the HPC is, for tourism, for economic development, for creating the sense of place in our downtown, if we're going for more of a historic lamp, pedestrian lamp looking thing, is it more appropriate to try to go with one that we actually had in the past, or to go with a modern version? I mean, I don't know if they even make them that are similar to the ones that we had in the past. I have no idea.
They may not.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, I haven't seen those.
Yeah.
And I'd be,
I'll send them to you and to Lauren this afternoon, or.
I would be very, I'd look forward to looking and see if we can find something maybe at least similar.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know if we'll get exactly the same, but to
and the
have that
question-
same flavor would be
And,
nice.
but they're nothing like these, and so that's the question: is what is the goal to create a historic feel for our downtown? Because if we're going into we're going to put up historic district banners. We're going to revisit our downtown historic district, and I mean we use the downtown as a core tourism destination, and so if we're going to create the look, I mean that's one thing to consider. And maybe it's, just a few streets of it could be done, yet another option. I mean, now you can have 6 different kinds. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we're going to go for a historic authenticity, then maybe trying to get close to what we really had is an option, or something to explore at least.
I think it's something to explore. I will tell you that as important as the aesthetics are, I'm concerned with the lighting quality. So I want to make certain that I can get a fixture that can do what I need it to do from a lighting perspective. After that, the next thing for the downtown area would be aesthetics. So I'm open to that. I don't know what they have out there though.
Well, I'll send the pictures, and maybe it's the kind of thing that I don't know how many you're talking of on 13-foot poles, but maybe it's something that's just done in a core area, and I don't know. I mean, you math that.
It would be my understanding that, and Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's in the downtown core area, they would be all those that are approved by downtown design review?
It would go through the suite,
Yeah. So it would be one or all, none or all, I should say.
Chair Engel? May I?
Yes.
Have you done any kind of looking into the designs that you had, the ones to pick from? Is there a minimum lumens that you guys have to deal with, that every one of these lights have to put out so much light at such an angle that when they're installed, that everything will be covered? That would, dictate what kind you could actually put in there,
Yes.
whether it's an old style or a new style?
Yes, we've done that. We know that we have an option to meet the lumen output that's currently there. And that's really how we're trying to match which ones. I can tell you that most that are out there have a variety of lumen outputs that we can choose from. So not too concerned about that, except that if they don't have enough, I wouldn't consider it. These lights are not just for pedestrian use. They do provide some lighting to the street itself, and so that becomes very important for us.
All right, any other questions, thoughts? Well, thank you, and we look forward to continuing this discussion.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. All right, moving on to the Section 106, 221 North Fifth Street property.
Chair Engel and Commissioners, the City of Bismarck Public Works Department is looking to apply for the North Dakota Department of Commerce Energy Conservation Grant for lighting upgrades to the city-county building located at 221 North 5th Street. The lighting upgrades will consist of changing the existing interior compact fluorescent lighting to LED lighting. This would only be for the interior lights and would not affect any other portions of the building beyond the light fixtures themselves. The application process for the grant requires Section 106 clearance for properties that are older than 50 years old. The original portion of this building at 221 North 5th Street was built in 1926, requiring that Section 106 clearance for the project. Staff from the State Historical Society of North Dakota were consulted originally, and they suggested that city staff obtain the Bismarck Historic Preservation Commission's determination and include that with the other grant materials that would be submitted for the grant application. City staff were not able to find any recorded cultural survey for this particular building. However, through review of photographs, various journals, books, and building permit information of this building, staff found that several renovations, additions, and upgrades have occurred throughout the years to the building. Draft cultural review form, supporting documentation, and draft declaration are attached for your review. The draft declaration would be updated based on the Historic Preservation Commission's determination and comments. Staff recommends that the Historic Preservation Commission review the documentation for the Section 106 review for lighting upgrades for 221 North 5th Street and provide a determination. If you want, I have included some of the information on slides up here if you want to see it. Otherwise, if you have it in your packet, feel free to look at that as well.
You're just talking, excuse me, you're just talking about these 2x4 fixtures throughout the building, is that?
That
you're
is
referring to?
that is correct.
Yeah. And nothing else?
Nothing else, just based on discussions with staff at Public Works for it.
Would the style change or just the interior bulbs?
I believe it would just be the interior bulbs that they're changing. I haven't gotten.
Does it change it from this to LED? I mean, they do have retrofit bulbs that are LED, but I don't know if you'd have to change some of the ballasts or anything.
That would be a good question. I can double check with staff from Public Works to see what specifically is occurring with that. And I asked a general question to them. They said it was just the fixtures that would be updated. Not exactly sure what that process involves.
Chair, if you're just changing the bulbs, you really wouldn't need our permission, right? So I would guess, and you don't need our permission anyways. You can do it. Really, I'm just gonna tell you, 5 other people make that decision. We can do it. But yeah, so I would think that there must be some type of fixture change out / upgrade too, so.
But these are not original lights. Looking at the few photographs that were in here, they're not original to the design, and interior has been changed multiple times already. So, Commissioner Nodland?
Okay, I have a history nerd correction for you. On your description of the second paragraph, just because I read a lot about the Eppingers, the original Queen and Ramstead was in Mr. Eppinger's building on Main Street. It was next to the First International Bank, so today it would be in that empty parking lot between the parking ramp and the NC Bank. So the one on West 4th Street that you're describing here, that was Mrs. Eppinger's building. So you want the Eppinger block with the capital B on Main Street.
Thank you for the history lesson, Commissioner Notland. As far as what you're proposing here, I don't see any issues with it. I don't think it's going to change the the historic character of the building, of what's left there. I did find it unique that the bump out on the front of the building from the original part of the building is still there. It's just encased that you can see. So I'm also a nerd, but not that much of a nerd. So,
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
okay.
Second.
The last thing I would say is the declaration that we need to come up with needs to read that we recommend a determination of no adverse effect for this property. So as long as you're, that's what I thought you meant. And the second, any more discussion on this point? Okay.
And the correction.
And with the correction, yes, as presented by Commissioner Notlin. Hearing none, we'll take roll.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Persley,
Yes.
Commissioner Swanson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Zenker,
Yes.
and, I'm sorry, Chair Engel.
Yes, sorry. I think you already got me.
Yes, I'll say yes too.
Okay, I'm like, did I get everybody? I'm sorry.
I just said yes for you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the NRHP nomination for the Patrick, is it Byrne House? I'm sorry, I should probably know how to. Yeah, Byrne House.
Chair Engel and Commissioners, the Historic Preservation Commission has been contacted as a courtesy to review a National Register of Historic Places nomination. The nomination is for the Patrick E. Byrne House, 120 West Avenue A. This is located in central Bismarck. The nomination property is currently a contributing element within the Cathedral Area Historic District. The opportunity to comment on the National Register nomination is provided to the Historic Preservation Commission as a courtesy. If the Historic Preservation Commission wishes to provide comments, those comments may consist of things such as if the author missed any important information, any statements in the nomination that might be confusing or possibly inaccurate, or if anything needs more justification or anything along those lines. The Commission's comments will be provided to the nomination author as well as the State Historic Preservation Office for consideration of inclusion within the final nomination form. I do want to let you know that the nomination is tentatively scheduled for a review before the North Dakota Historic Preservation Review Board on April 25th at 10 a.m. at the Heritage Center, in case anybody is interested to see what that process looks like. Staff does recommend that the Historic Preservation Commission review the National Register nomination for the Patrick E. Byrne House at 120 West Avenue A and provide any comments to be conveyed to the North Dakota State Historic Preservation Office and the nomination author.
Great, thank you, Lauren. I've read this nomination, and I took it very slowly since I'm not an architectural person. I do have some comments to make, nothing critical, just having a few questions for the author. But I think we can probably compile those amongst ourselves, and put in, our recommendation if we support it or not. Does anybody else have anything critical or otherwise to share about this nomination? Commissioner
I just
Schwartz.
thought it was an excellently authored nomination. That was really good. Really interesting. She brought in really interesting elements of the personalities that were involved and the architects, and I think it's just she covered it from one end to the other as far as I can see, and make it. It's a good. I think she'd have a good opportunity at the Historical Society to get it passed.
I agree, and it was a very clean
Very clean.
document as well. There's only a few bits of my own edification. I'll probably talk to Emily about it because I know her. But Commissioner Nolan, do you have any?
I guess my question is, what does a statement of support look like? Do we have a standard one that we use or that they would like?
I don't know if we have a standard one, but I sat on the board, and it's basically just a letter saying that we like the nomination. It's very clear. We agree with the criteria that it's nominated under, and we overall think it's a good idea, signed by the commission. So, Any other thoughts?
I was just say, we mentioned before where it's like they could have made a run at a, what is it? B.
Criterion B.
Yeah, criterion B for people. But otherwise, yeah, it's wholeheartedly support under criterion C.
Awesome. Then we will work at pulling together a support letter for that, and then add in whatever comments you guys have for the author, and we'll try and get that done. Hopefully, we can get that done this week, maybe, so that she has it before she goes in front of the board on the 25th, if that's possible. Yes, Commissioner Noblin.
So I will make a motion that the board supports the nomination and will forward a letter of support signed by the chair.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Take roll.
Commissioner Zenker,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Persley,
Yes.
Commissioner Notlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Swanson,
Yes.
and Chair Engel.
Yes. Well done. Okay. Moving on to the 2023 Historic Preservation Fund Grant update.
This is just real quick. Chair Engel and Commissioners, staff and Commissioner Noblin have met to discuss the designs for the Downtown Historic District streetlight banners. The discussion established that the banner designs for this district should highlight the potential themes, people, and streetscapes identified within the National Register nomination form for this district. Staff and Commissioner Notlin are working to set up a meeting with other members of the subcommittee or who were previously on the subcommittee and who have already been part of the initial discussions to further this work on the project. No action by the Historic Preservation Commission is required at this time.
Great. And then last is the Historic Preservation Month.
Chair Engel and Commissioners, the Historic Preservation Commission has discussed potential activities to participate in or promote for Historic Preservation Month in May. Over its past several meetings, a draft flyer for these potential activities is included for your review. Staff will work to promote these activities through a variety of ways, including social media and on the city's website. Staff will also work to post history facts from the timeline of Bismarck history or quotes from local literature, just having a tie into one of the activities that was pointed out on the draft flyer. And that will be posted throughout the month of May as a way to also promote Historic Preservation Month. Proclamation will be presented at the April 22nd City Commission meeting for Historic Preservation Month. Staff recommends reviewing the flyer and identifying any changes that should be made before it needs to go out in May.
Are there any corrections? Thank you, Lauren. Any corrections that people can see or thinkings that are glaringly missing? Okay. Yes.
The only thing I could give an update on is I know that Commissioner, I was going to say Chair, Commissioner Sackerson is working on the first one, the local literature exhibit. So that one's, I asked her recently, and that's all underway. And usually what we did last time was we put a temporary box up on the door that had the downtown walking maps and this flyer up too, so people downtown would, if they happen by, would.
Great idea. Yeah, thank you. I would encourage all of the commissioners to join in some of these, pick some or do all of them. Hoping you all make it to the meeting, of course. But I'm going to be at the Founders Day trivia and check out the window reglazing because I've done that, but I'm probably not historically accurate on how I've done it. So I think they're really great events, and it would be good to mingle with the rest of the community and find out what their preservation likes, dislikes, or if they want to drum up any other things to do for these in the coming years. And then there's 2 history hot dishes, right, coming out at some point. The podcasts and stuff. So yeah, check those out too if you can't make it to any of the in-person things. Yes.
Chair Engel, Would it be possible to put the web link for our Bismarck timeline on there?
Great question, Commissioner Noblin. So based on how the layout of the flyer is, just to get all the information in, if you see in the bottom left-hand corner, there's actually a link and a QR code. The QR code isn't currently active. It will be in May once everything's finalized after this meeting. If I can get the screen up here again. If you can kind of see a little bit on here, so your QR code or that link that is provided there, it'll actually take you to a separate area that has way more information on it than what's available on the flyer. And it'll provide additional information on the timeline, different places that might be open. So the former governor's mansion is open, when that would be, when Camp Hancock is open, when the state archives are. So moving beyond just our specific activities, it highlights other historic preservation activities, events, and activities that people can participate in throughout the month. This only shows a map, but there's other areas on here, so it provides a background of the month and the celebration and why we're doing it. It has different resources that people can go to, and it has additional ways to celebrate. There's also the downtown walking tour map. It was digitized. I don't know if you remember that from a couple meetings ago. That's on there as a potential link. The cathedral area one has just been finalized. Staff just finished working on that, so that will also be available on there. It's putting a little bit more information than what's currently available on the flyer there.
I think that's great. Yeah.
Yes. Commissioner Nolan? Chair Engel. Lauren, is there a way to include this QR code in a couple of different places, even maybe on the web, on your social media site, or if the city commission, when they read the proclamation, can they point to that QR code? Because a lot of people don't use QR codes, but if they know all that information is on there, if there's just a way to highlight that's the spot to go to somehow beyond just this flyer.
Commissioner Nodland, Chair, Commissioners, I think staff can work through that. And we can potentially include that within all our different posts throughout the month as well, in case anybody wants to use that link.
That's great. And I think a general kind of email to going out to all of the elementary schools in particular, because I know May is really like a hotbed of activity as they wrap up their school year. And teachers are usually looking for stuff like that to explore. So if they had that resource, it might get some of the younger crowd active.
I'd recommend the earlier the better, so they can plan.
Absolutely.
In case you want to do a field trip.
I think we're running out of month for April anyway, so better get crack-a-lackin'. Okay. Right. All right. Is there any other business that we need to attend to? Okay. Hearing none, the next regular meeting is scheduled for May 21st at 3 p.m. right here in the Tom Baker Room. Thank you all.